call to order the meeting of the Utility Service Board for Monday, March 2nd, 2020. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of our previous meeting that took place on February 17th. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions, any comments, any changes? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We've approved the minutes. Next item on the agenda is the approval of claims. We have our standard invoices. Let me get the amount. Looks like, all right, $3,420,720.65. Any questions? Yes, Jeff?
First question is in regards to the set of easements. There was a number of them, the Middleway House being the biggest one. I understand these are for the south of the Big Dig. What do we call it? The Jordan River Culvert, thank you. And so these vary a lot. Is it based on area of the parcel that the easement's put through? Is it length? What's the basis for all the differences in the easements?
I believe it's the size of the easement. Mr. Wheeler, can you help with this one?
I just got here. I'm not sure what the question was.
Oh, I'll restate it. I just asked about the set of easement questions. We had the first one 2 weeks ago, and then we have a large number of easement questions for the Jordan River Culvert south of 3rd Street. And I was wondering what the basis for the differences in all the prices of the easements are. Is it just area of the easement through the property? Are there other considerations of?
The primary driving mechanism for identifying the cost that we are paying is based upon the amount of the property that we're invading. So dependent upon how much of the infrastructure is physically located within the parcel of real estate, also how much of that parcel we might be using as temporary easement for staging of materials, some of that going on. But there are other considerations and factors that go into the cost, which might be displacement of parking spaces, for example, or in some cases, the removal of structures. So there are a lot of different factors that go into it, but predominantly you're right, it's the amount of infrastructure that we are going to have located in the real estate that drives the cost.
Thank you. And then the second one was on page 6, Water Environmental Federation, number of WEF memberships. One of them was for Dillman Road, so I was just wondering if that was for the people in the lab there, or how we get a bill to water for people at Dillman.
I believe it's for the lab, but I'll double check.
Okay. Thanks.
Jason?
Just to follow up on Jeff's question, so I'll ask a specific one. So how did we come up with the value for the Middleway easement? $145,200.
I don't know without looking at the appraisal again. There are.
So we had it appraised?
Yes. In each of these instances, an appraisal was done prior to any offer being made to any of the owners as to what the cost might be for the permanent and temporary easements that would be taking, that would be occurring.
Okay, now that you said the magic word that I wanted to hear there, which was appraisal.
Sure.
Because that didn't come up last time. So the answer is, the way we arrive at the value on these is an appraisal.
Absolutely, but I heard, is there an amount of property that we're taking or something along those lines?
Yeah.
But yes, everything's been appraised.
Yep, good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, Amanda.
And on these easements, with the appraisals and everything, does it then come to a committee of the, does the
Property and Planning Committee of the board review these, or does Vic review? I mean, I'm kind of curious how those large amounts of money get, who makes that final decision on those large amounts?
It's based on the footprint of the project. So we've got the size of the tunnel and then the size of the area adjacent to the tunnel that's required for the easements, plus anything that we're temporarily going to be using to hold equipment or materials or whatnot. So it's basically overlapping that shape over the map.
Okay.
Amanda, also though, I think your question was more to the point of who actually approves the amount that's going to be then offered to the landowner. And historically, to my knowledge, this board or any subcommittee of this board has not been involved in that approval process to review what the appraisal was and making any fine tuning of that amount of the offer. Certainly, going forward, if this board wished to be involved in that decision making, that could be made a part of the procedure. As it stands, assistant director and director are involved in the negotiating phase with each of the landowners. The offers go out for
Gotcha.
those approvals.
Yeah, I don't want to tie anything up in like further committees, but I was curious about how that transpires.
For me, it's merely inheriting a wheel that had been previously invented and using it.
Okay.
Okay, seeing no more questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Standard invoices are approved. The utility bills are next for a total of $104,822.74. Any questions on utility bills? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Utility bills are approved. And finally, we have wire transfers for the amount of $362,433.97. Any questions on wire transfers? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I was pointing out that I believe this is the first meeting that I attended where there are no customer refunds. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just an observation.
Sure they'll be back next. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of consent agenda. Vic?
Good evening. The staff is requesting the approval of the consent agenda in the total amount of $31,681.72. The projects are outlined on the screen. Cassidy Electric for $3,500. Crane 1 for $4,952.20. B.L. Anderson for $12,000 a year. That's a non-call contract. Heflin Industries for $3,000 a year. Cone for $4,979.52. And Cassidy Electric again of $3,250. Is there any board member who would like to hear any of these items separately? Hearing none, if there's no opposition from the board, these will be approved consistently with the recommendation of staff. Hearing no opposition, the consent agenda is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic. And the next item is the request for approval of agreement with Rumpke for $155,000, and James is here to tell us about it.
Hi, thank you. James Hall, CBU Environmental. We're requesting approval of a $155,000 contract with Rumpke. I don't know if you can see that screen or the boxes, or if you need to turn around. There's different categories at different rates. The one thing you need to know about this contract is we wrote it to kind of meet the standard of not to exceed A couple of these items more than likely will not even be able to be eligible to go to Rumpke because of their hazardous, because they meet certain hazardous standards. And so the impacted soil and the interior walls more than likely will not be able to go to Rumpke, so that'd possibly be $22,000 that wouldn't be able to, wouldn't be executed as part of this contract. But we put it in there for just in case the testing comes back positive in our favor. Is there any questions?
So can I ask, what doesn't go to Rumpke, where does it go?
Well, the next contract will handle some of that, and then we also have a third contract that I haven't finished yet for the other disposal pieces.
Any other questions for James? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, James. Next item is a request for approval with Heritage Environmental Services for $187,498. Again, James?
Again, James Hall, CBU Environmental. This project, or this particular contract, is for materials within the building that potentially is going to only come back as PCB contaminated and not have any other hazardous waste material on them. We have already tested these materials. We know that they meet or exceed PCB levels, and they have to be disposed of at a certain landfill. There's some interior wall painting and piping inside the building. What we're continuing to test, and we'll test once this material comes out of the building to see if it meets RCRA or hazardous waste standards. PCBs are regulated under something called TSCA, so it's separated. This landfill is in Indiana, and it would be somewhat cheaper. The total cost of this it's kind of hard on this contract to see, but when we're taking the piping out and other material, we may not be able to load the container up to the maximum amount, or 20 tons or whatever, and they have a minimum charge. So on that bottom box there, that possible load charge, that's kind of where I put that, because they're automatically going to charge. It doesn't matter if we have 20 pounds or sorry, if we have less than their minimum load, they'll charge us $1,200 no matter what. So that's kind of where we went there. I'm estimating that we maybe do 65 loads at 10 tons to get that figure. But again, some of this probably won't come off there, and this may not even be applicable at all. We just wanted to have it in place by the time the demo contract came up.
Any questions? Yes, Amanda.
So, so am I to understand then, with the previous thing that we just approved, and then this one, we're basically saying it's a total of about 350,000, not to exceed 350,000 either way, to get everything removed? I mean,
Not totally, no.
Doesn't include the haz waste.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's another contract that will come that for this particular material. So this, the Heritage contract is dealing with two types of material, the interior walls and the piping that has PCB paint on it.
okay.
So none of that material is going to be able to go to Rumpke. So that was on that first contract. The piping wasn't on there at all, but there were some interior walls that we will segregate out that had PCB.
So let me rephrase then. So far, this is about 350,000, not to exceed, between these two, and then there'll be yet another one coming.
Correct. That will be dealing with these two materials, but will be TSCA and RCRA, or hazardous waste, positive.
That'll be the big one.
Yeah, that'll be the big one, and it's in Michigan, so it's a longer transportation as well.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't the demo. This is just strictly disposal cost.
When it says that everything should be signed by February 28th,
On the memo,
yes,
yes, that's just.
It says-
Smart for us to try and get all of the stamping and approvals of the city hall accomplished in order to be able to get the contract ready for your review and
but we've not met that date?
Yeah.
Okay, so our signatures are not relevant.
No, that's just an internal memo.
I see.
For me to use up at City Hall to try and purge those up at City Hall, like the controller's office.
Okay.
And the mayor's office to review and approve, so that we can get it down here.
Oh, I see, okay.
Makes
sense.
There's no legal recourse or concerns there.
Okay,
It's just something for me to use to prompt people to try and get things done.
all right, sounds good. Okay, yes, Jason?
So I noticed on both project schedules, it has expected completion by December 31st, 2020. So is that when we feel pretty good about that will be when everything's demoed and removed by the end of this calendar year?
Yeah, we hope way before the demolition contract is going to be much shorter than that. I just left these contracts open for the manifest and all that to come back over time. But we're pushing to have the demo advertisement out this Sunday. We'll have this. That means we'll put the second demo advertisement out on the 15th. Bids will be due back and opened here on the 30th of March. We'll do the resolution to award on the 13th of April. The request for agreement approval on the 27th of April, and then notice to proceed on the 28th. And I think it's Mike's not in here, but I can't. It was 180. I think 180 days is the contract time on there, so 6 months roughly.
And do you know where we are with IDEM on everything?
We're good. So that's kind of what we've decided is that we're just going to ship it all off, and these two places will take whatever we have, and then we'll do confirmation sampling to prove that the ground where we did the remediation is good to go.
Conservative approach, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second? Secondly.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agreement is hereby approved. Next item on the agenda is old business. Any old business from the board? I think not. From the staff?
No.
Not. New business from the board? New business from staff?
Thank you.
We've had no subcommittees as far as I know, so there'll be no subcommittee reports. Staff reports?
We've got a number of them this time.
Okay.
The first one is, I'd like to, on behalf of the staff, I'd like to welcome our new board member, Megan Parmenter. This is her first meeting. We all got to meet you last Friday, and we're very excited about working with you. So welcome to CBU.
Thank you.
And let us know if there's anything we can do to help you.
Okay, thank you. Very excited to serve and learn all about the City of Bloomington utilities.
Excellent. I'd also like to welcome Jill Miner. Jill joined us last week as our utilities data analyst. This is a new position that the board and the council created this year to help us make better data-driven decisions over time. So Jill is getting rolling here at CBU. So if you have any data questions, we'll be able to dig into that a little bit more aggressively.
And what kinds of data? Step up and introduce yourself. Talk to us.
Well, I'm coming out of energy into water, but I'm familiar with utility account data primarily and usage consumption. I am getting acquainted with the water treatment plant here in the beginning and all of those processes. And I've learned a lot about chemistry, and so I'm studying the byproduct formation at present. But I welcome any suggestions, issues, anything you want to have a look at.
Well, we like data-driven, so welcome.
My third thing is that Holly told me today that this is the day we crossed the 50% mark for the water meter replacements. So we're somewhere over 13,000 now. The other thing is to remind you of the board retreat next Monday at the Mill. It's on March 9th. And then the last thing is In case you hadn't heard about it, or if you have heard about it, it's a reminder that next Thursday on March 12th, the mayor and the council are inviting community members to participate in a discussion of a sustainability investment fund and the local income tax that would support it. The event will convene local sustainability leaders, city department heads, and council members. We will be there, and that's that's Thursday. Sorry, this week, Thursday, March 5th, from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Mill. So that's on 642 North Madison Street near City Hall. So that's just a shout out to everyone who might be interested in attending, and that's all I have.
Okay.
Jim, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So our next regular meeting, though, will be Thursday, March 12th at 1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Which is not our usual time, but because of spring break, we moved that.
That's right. We were going to have too many board members who couldn't be here on the Monday of spring break.
Okay?
There will be a meeting. Is that still planned for the 16th? There's still a meeting on the 16th, sub-quorum meeting for the purpose of bid openings for the Dillman project. So it's like the one we did about a month or so ago. So it can be a sub-quorum meeting for the purpose of opening bids.
Even if none of us are here.
One member of this board needs to be here
I ran
on
one of those
Monday, the
responses.
16th of March, in order to have...
Okay. And are we confident that we have someone that's going to be here? Okay, well, I just raised that question because I don't know who's going to be here.
0 is a sub-quorum.
Sub-quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd better make sure there is one.
Jeff says he's around.
You're here.
Yes,
You're in charge.
sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, finally, are there any petitions and communications out there? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We are adjourned.